Hey folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings Podcast. It's a show where each week we're going to be sitting down with Vincent Daly to get his thoughts on the latest movies he's been watching, both older films and new releases. And don't worry, there's no spoilers. Vince will give a brief review of the movie, share some thoughts, and of course, then rate the film. The daily ratings are always fair, honest, and most importantly, they're consistent. On today's show, Vince will be rating and reviewing. We're jumping into the theater for 3 films here, folks. So we have How to Make a Killing, directed by John Patton Ford. We then have Crime 101 by Bart Layton. And then Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. And that's directed by Gore Verbinski. So let's get Vincent Daly in the room, hear what he's got to say about these films. Stay tuned and enjoy the show. Mr. Vincent Daly, how are we doing across the table, my friend?
Thomas, how's it going?
It's going okay with me. We managed to go see one of these movies together, Crime 101.
Yeah.
And then How to Make a Killing, except not in the box office. Brand new film was six in the box office. So Crime 101 beat that. And then Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. It's.
I mean, didn't even crack, 8 digits? It was like 3 million
rough.
or something? Yeah.
Are you talking about How to Make a Killing?
Yeah.
It did a little bit better than 3 million, but not much better than 3 million. But it's just like, boy, oh boy, people are going, Glenn Powell, this is the second bomb that he's had in a row. Can he open a movie? Is he that big of a star? Does star power matter anymore? All that's happening. And then
Sure.
Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Smaller film came out a few weeks ago, and it's still putting around, not in every theater, but you could probably find it close to you.
Yeah.
If interested.
Yeah, there was a lot of competition in theater for theater space this week. And glad that we could circle back on some of these because I really was interested in watching all of these movies on my own. But yeah, it's a week.
We'll see how they fare.
It's a week.
They're all rated R, all adult movies. I don't know, any opening notes? Anything you have to say for yourself?
Just trying to really brew on an alternate title. The thing is when I have 3, and we've been doing 3, especially for like these new releases, new release only weeks for a while now. I always try to think of like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, but it doesn't really work because like usually it's like one is not like ugly, one is not like that bad,
Sometimes one isn't that good.
Yeah, sometimes we don't even have a good one. So no alternate title for this week though.
Okay, well, let's start with How to Make a Killing. This is the shortest film. I think it's about 1 hour and 45 minutes. Starring Glenn Powell, and I remember in fall this was getting shoveled out as far as trailers for theaters go.
Right.
I don't know if there was any online anticipation or any online excitement for it at all. I don't know if I ever saw this movie doing well.
Sure.
To be honest about it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But, here we are, How to Make a Killing. We do have a bunch of actors in this. Set up the film. Tell us about it.
Well, this is the second movie from a new director-writer on the scene, John Patton Ford. A24 is also producing this one as well, furthering their expansion beyond horror, and I feel like 2026 is really going to show that. We saw it certainly in 2025 for A24, but really, they're making swings in every direction possible. This is, I think, is a great example of that. As far as Patton Ford, his first movie was a movie called Emily the Criminal in 2022, starring Aubrey Plaza. I haven't seen that one, but other than that, he really seems fresh out of the gate, which was a little exciting for me. Certainly, I've talked about it many times on the podcast. I like rooting for writer-directors. Certainly like rooting for just new directors, period, on the scene. Unfortunately, this was the first real disappointment of the year, and I really mean that.
Disappointment.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's like with you. I wasn't really expecting anything here.
Right.
I wasn't really expecting anything as far as like to love Glenn Powell in this. But
you wanted to have a good time.
Exactly.
You want to go to the theater and have a good time with this one.
I thought the premise was an easy slam dunk. Just it seemed like it was just a fun little crime premise that would probably, maybe capture some of the date night crew. There's a good amount of actors, exciting actors.
They're really pushing, Ed Harris in this one.
But man, that slam dunk premise, it just seems like this movie wants nothing to do with its own premise. It's really weird, really odd. How to Make a Killing is, I would say, a kind of a lighthearted crime flick, but stumbles in trying to extend into a dark comedy. And it really wants to be a dark comedy, but it's mostly not, because no one is remotely funny in this. It's really not funny at all. It apparently also loosely adapts a British dark comedy called Kind Hearts and Cornets from 1949. I had a brief inkling that I wanted to
maybe we should
cover
watch
this.
that. Yeah, maybe we should add that to the list.
Yeah. Just as well, it being like a British comedy, maybe this could have leached some wit off of it as well. But I have not seen that 1949 movie, but I guess it's a loose adaptation of it. Glenn Powell in this plays Beckett, born exiled outside of his impossibly wealthy family, the Redfellows, still secretly belonging to the billions up for inheritance. With 7 family members sitting in between him and the estate, he concocts a plan to start knocking off the competition. By no means a master assassin, he luckily fails upward once he realizes how foolish all of his relatives actually are. But no one ever teaches us how to dream small, so even when Beckett achieves a life he knows is comfortable, he just can't seem to stop going after the full hoard of wealth that he's owed. I think Glenn Powell leading here is once again, I feel like it would have at least a decent draw, but...
and Margaret Qualley at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just unsure if people care anymore. Not to play into like the listicles going around, kind of being vultures on this movie that's underperforming, but it really is. It kind of makes me question of just like, what is the star power there?
I think the biggest question is, does star power matter that much?
Yeah.
You got to give us you have to give us a reason to care about the movie itself.
Sure.
It needs to be somewhat of an event, and I don't know if an actor can do that.
Yeah.
Even take One Battle After Another. Huge with the critics, big online, whatever. And the box office was like, for PTA it was good.
Right.
As far as box office making money for a film, Leo can't draw them in.
Right.
But I don't know if that's Leo's fault. I think it's just how we do movies these days.
Sure.
And Glenn Powell is no Leonardo.
Right, yeah. There's the degree of like, does star power matter? But then there's also the critical lens of like Glenn Powell specifically, of just like how much is he actually, pulling with people or pulling with audiences. I feel like unlike our films this week, this was the opening weekend for this one. The other two we're circling back for, and it was pretty dead on arrival, dead in the theater as well. What were I found maybe 40 million on the budget? What was the opening weekend?
Opening weekend
3.5, something like that.
Wow. Oh shit, you're right. You're right. It was $3.5 million. It was that bad.
Terrible.
Wow.
Not even close.
Elvis
to
in concert almost was on its heels.
Damn you, Baz Luhrmann.
Yeah, because Crime 101 is still was in the top 5.
Yeah. Wow.
So no, it did not do well. Which honestly, because it does seem like a date night movie, but I guess people wanted to go see Wuthering Heights, of course. That is still the date night movie. Yeah.
Right. The date night does not go away.
Right.
But I guess it surprised me because on the surface, again, this seemed like a fun movie that would just get some asses in seats. But only once you're there, once the asses is paid for the ticket, would it become clear where it stumbles. My take is all of how this fails to land its comedy, no less calling itself a dark comedy, which a lot of films want to do these days, whether it's Powell's delivery not kind of shaking things up, which is a shame. He did that. We didn't cover it, but he did that Hitman movie.
I did watch it, yeah.
Yeah, that was apparently like kind of a comedic breakthrough, or he was at least, reaching a little bit in his normal role.
Just so not having seen this movie, but having seen Hitman, and then you flip-flopping on that, I just feel like you would have a lot to say the exact same thing
okay.
about the movie. But at least that was a Netflix thing, so it's almost like...
Yeah, sure. There's a degree there of like,
A toss away. It is Linklater, actually.
Yeah.
But still Netflix, not theater.
I know. I would say as well, there's even just some like stale editing choices all over the runtime. Across the board, though, this feels just way too sterile to be calling itself a dark comedy. Like, you can certainly call some scenes cute, but not ones that have the edge needed for that subgenre. To be fair to Powell, it's where the supporting cast could have really stepped up. All of the extended family members are comedic in some way, but they're not really funny. And more importantly, failing to be funny kind of kills the crime stakes as well, because you have them attempting to be funny, it landing flat, and the time that we're spending with that in the film is like, well, the crime side isn't hitting either. You know, you're not killing two birds with one stone. I don't know. That's usually like a compliment. No, you're killing two birds with one stone and then remorseful over the two birds dead.
And you got to get through 7 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to deal with the love romance on the side.
Oh, right.
The romantic angle with Quali.
Exactly. Oh, no, there's 2, because then there's Hensworth.
Henwick?
Yeah, Henwick.
Jessica Henwick, yeah.
Yeah, who's from the newer Matrix and whatnot. Very cute.
Who I like. She played Bugsy in the new one.
Yep.
She's the only part I liked in the new Matrix.
Yeah. I mean, she was super hot, and she's super hot in this. So is Quali. I mean, but yeah, I would say it's just tough because it tries to go almost against the grain of what you think this would be naturally good at. Again, I use the word slam dunk because I feel like, I don't know. I don't have the audacity to say like I would necessarily do a better job. I've not directed a movie like this, but it really just feels like a drop ball. Like, what are you doing? And then to not have that against the grain method, kind of work for the film at all and be a distraction is just, it's a real shame. It's a real shame. For me, this just felt extremely bland because of its storytelling, however. Most of the film is narrated by Powell and told exclusively in flashback. Not the end of the world, but just a little bland, a little dusty.
Yes.
This really betrays how fun and unique that premise is of we got to just knock off a bunch of people to get an inheritance. Failing to use any of the suspense that should be natural to that crime setup. Beckett in this is not a hitman, yet if he's smart enough, he can kind of get one over these idiotic family members. What should be, once again, slam dunk in the narration laying out a fun, electric, ocean-style kind of planning stage of these assassinations is so glazed over impossibly quickly. There are 3 out of the 7 that are wrapped up within like, I'm not joking, like less than 10 minutes, like all in like rapid fire. It just deflates any enthusiasm I had to see things play out.
Yeah.
I think enthusiasm as well from like people watching this, especially with just like such a clearly communicated setup in the story. This needed some Kill Bill energy to it, where our skin in the game on watching this is how the kills are pulled off, not necessarily the aftermath of how much he's love being rich or how much he's conflicted now living a big life versus his small life. That's not it. That's not it. It's the kills, it's the assassinations. Also like in every one of these, the crutch of every chapter seems to be Beckett just kind of revealing himself as like a last ditch effort to his target. And what it does is it kind of skips past some messy complications. In each of these kills, maybe 7's a big head count, admittedly, for runtime.
It is, yeah.
But, you want a road bump. You want him thrown off his game and seeing how he kind of overcomes that. It's just kind of just good script writing here. The messy complications are skipped past and glazed over by him just saying, hey, I'm actually your cousin. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, you can feel the priorities of this movie are just to move past its own premise as quickly as possible. And folks, I just hate to say it, but especially for a new director on the scene, I really hate to say it, but this should have just been a streaming release because it is some streaming slop. We're going to go ahead and give How to Make a Killing a 51.
Okay, a 51%, basically no coin toss there. A folding laundry movie.
Yes.
Flip it on when you're folding laundry.
For sure,
Yeah.
and you can follow it just as well.
Any standout actors? How is Quali? I mean, I think this is our first of 3 times, maybe 4 times we'll see her this year.
Oh, really?
So she's just on a tear. She needs to settle down, actually.
Yeah. The character a bit annoying for me, just because it was so telegraphed, the role she was supposed to play, but she was doing a good job. I think as well for, I'm now messing her name, Christina Henswick? Henwick or Hemsworth?
Henwick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think both of them.
Hemsworth is in 5 minutes from now.
Yeah, right.
Jessica Henwick.
I'm missing off the hands.
But, and then...
Ed Harris,
yeah. Barely in it, probably.
Barely in it.
Yeah. But they're certainly using them.
Yeah, exactly.
In the credits
they want the poll
and the poster.
Yeah.
Okay, How to Make a Killing, 51%, A24, so it's going to be on HBO Max probably very soon.
Sure.
And watch it. Fold laundry to it if you want. If you're bored, have it on the background. It'll end up in the top 10 for a couple weeks, I'm sure, on HBO because it's new and it's Glenn Powell,
It's true. It's true.
But it's an easy streaming thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it begs the question. We talk about this a good amount of just like, would the reception of these films be better if they went to streaming first? I know that for me, that kind of dispositions me of just like, I don't know if this is going to be that good. It's kind of like direct-to-video, what direct-to-video used to be when we were growing up, of just like, this is a lesser movie. But I feel like at a certain point, there is a strategy to doing streaming first because people will watch it with less skin in the game and probably maybe enjoy themselves more rather than like going to the theater or having, to really chuck up the cash to get there, as in the case with this. Like the box office never made it there.
Right.
No less people being lukewarm on the movie.
Well, I mean... You're saying go to streaming first and then go to the theater?
No. Just the strategy of...
We got a dog here, so put it on the streaming service.
Bingo.
I think that will happen. I think,
perfectly put. We got a dog here.
I do think that might have happened. Now, the thing is, we've had some success stories in the opposite.
Yes.
Like Moana 2 was going to be just on the
Even
platform.
though that did belong on streaming first.
I know, but it made a huge amount of money. Yeah. You can even say with Mean Girls, I think, when the new Mean Girls came out.
Good
that
point.
was going to be Disney+. They put it in the theaters, and I do think, I don't know, I think it made $65 million in the States alone. So you're getting some of the money back.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
But I do think that there's been examples of it's like, what are we going to do with it? Oh, what am I saying? Roadhouse. Roadhouse was supposed to have a big theater push.
Yes.
Amazon stopped, and then I forget the director, super pissed.
Yeah, super pissed. And
didn't go to the premiere. Mm-hmm. Yeah, boycotted the premiere. It's not a part of 2 anymore. So there you go. That's an example. And a good choice on Amazon, if you're asking us. Right?
That movie was so ridiculous. Conor McGregor, I mean, like that really, it was really so bad
bonkers.
It's good. So bad it's good potential. I mean,
And there's a second one coming.
That's wild.
But there you go. There's your example. Okay, all right. So let's jump on to Crime 101. Like I said, we got together to watch this one. I had no skin in the game on this one.
Yep.
The week of. I don't know. I started getting a little excited. I started seeing flurries of this is just, it's a cheaper version of Heat, but that's totally fine.
Right.
Because, everything doesn't have to be Heat. Even if you get close to Heat.
Yeah.
We're doing okay.
I'm sure there's plenty of people who argue that Heat isn't even something that you should look up to. That's like kind of an off-brand type of, crime.
Well, that's
not us.
That's
but
silly. That's a silly
not
thing.
but
but then again, we do have Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Barry Keoghan, and Halle Berry are big actors in this one. So you jump into it. It's rated R, 2 hours and 20 minutes. And you set it up. We'll take it back and forth.
Yeah. So let me start with saying, as much as I love seeing a new heist movie in theaters, I can't help but feel the cast here was just kind of killing the project a little bit for me. Chris Hemsworth, Halle Berry, Mark Ruffalo make up our trio of lead performances and quickly stand out as kind of a crock pot of lead performers that are tied together by their iffy acting chops. I mean, this is not really, yes, they are names,
right?
But are they like names, and all of them kind of have,
quirks.
Yeah, ghosts in their closet, shadows to are they good actors, But on the bright side, I would say a real big green flag here for me was our director, Bart Layton, who I've been dying to see develop more as a writer-director. I absolutely loved his 2012 movie, The Imposter. I think that has an 80 on the dot on the site. as a kind of mind-blowing documentary that shifts in and out of reality. Really, really great stuff. And his 2018 film, American Animals, has been on my list forever, and dying to check it out even more after this week's release, just to see him, more as a genre director rather than a documentary director. But Leighton has the chops. I'm really rooting for this guy. I really think that there is something special, and if anything, I want there to be more than like 2 releases a decade. I want him to work.
You
more.
want him to get us some juice,
exactly.
Yeah,
and I feel like this may be, if he had some lead up. American Animals came out in 2018. That's 8 years. I feel like if there was
he's
something
worked on some other projects and
Yeah.
helped produce some stuff. Yeah.
But something in between, I feel like would have helped Crime 101 a little bit, or ramp up to it.
I will say the one thing this movie had going for it, when you first look at it, you might think it's definitely a cheaper, maybe it's a lower budget crime heist thriller that just no one can care about, and this would easily just go on TV back in the day.
Sure.
If it's on, you might have it on.
Yep.
But I have to say, the cool thing is it had some interesting things, specifically with camera work and the angles and the staging and the blocking of the film that proved that you have not a novice guy behind the lens.
Yes.
So that was something there.
And I feel like the things that this focused on, I'll talk about in a second, are things that lovers of heist films, crime flicks, are always ranting about. So it feels like either he's one of them or he has listened to what, maybe even from feedback of American Animals.
And some, I don't want to call them gimmicks, but some of the stuff he is doing, especially some of his transition stuff, very close to gimmicky, very close to being cheesy.
Right.
He's kind of riding a knife's edge there, but he stays on it.
Yeah.
It actually works.
Absolutely.
But anyway, enough of that. Let's set it up at least.
Yeah. So Crime 101 is, I would call it a details matter driven crime flick that focuses on characters always looking over their shoulders to either cover their tracks or remind themselves what they're running away from. Like you said already, Tom, online peeps have been comparing this a lot to Michael Mann's 1995 must-watch Heat, and I'll admit there are a staggering amount of similarities, from its systematic details to hard-to-love protagonists to California-flavored crime in general. I mean,
L.A., yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I won't get into the comparison game. Obviously, this one is, it's tough going against Heat in my book, but it really is staggering just like how much the two kind of have the same building blocks when you lay them out on paper. In the story, we follow both sides tracking a string of diamond heists. Hemsworth might not leave a drop of evidence behind, but this lack of clues highlights a methodology belonging only to a crack thief. This discipline in selecting jobs does have a single tell, however, all of them located along Route 101 for a quick getaway on the California coast. Hemsworth's principles shift lanes into both new allies and reckless enemies, his mentor in crime souring, resorting to a kill-happy cowboy, while also he gains a new insider to a job hoping for some real walk-away money. But the dream of walking away was always the juice for him, just may be enough finally to turn a new leaf at sunrise. I'll say, starting with some positive, I think our director clearly understands what many hardcore fans of this genre like myself always preach about in heist movies. All over the film are a lot of cool unspoken details that are shown to the audience only visually and doesn't hold your hand in picking them up. This is everything from wiping down handles, a reliance on not leaving any kind of details. There's a great kind of, reminded me of The Killer from Fincher.
Yeah, a little bit. It was going that direction in the beginning.
Just the methodical nature of, preparing for the job. I would say, especially for our introduction heist, I could imagine the script being several pages long before we even get our first line of dialogue, and for me, that's a dream come true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's like that's the movie I want to make. Maybe even no dialogue, So I think that's a huge positive for this. In this sense, I think Crime 101 really comes close to some of the greats of the genre, specifically Refn's Drive from 2011. And Mann's rougher classic Thief from 1981, just for this detail-driven approach to it. The movie, and this is a huge positive for it, the movie not only trusts you to read scenes for key tension, it develops the depth of this character in how methodical it shows him to be rather than being told about it.
Mm-hmm.
Above all else, I found myself rooting for this movie, especially returning to my notes of like, man, you know.
I know, same.
The scope is there. He's locked in on what it should be, you know?
I almost think yes, and surprisingly, I didn't even mind Hemsworth as much as I thought I would. Now,
Right.
I personally would have probably put, you know, there's 10 other actors I would have put in there
Sure.
before Hemsworth.
Sure.
But to your point of even we don't get much dialogue at the very beginning, there's not a lot of dialogue for Hemsworth at all.
Yeah.
That's good. Because if he's just doing things and he's
Yeah.
just driving a car,
Yep.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Hey, all right.
Right.
We can deal with that.
Exactly.
It's when Hemsworth actually has to act that's where we're getting into some issues, personally, in my opinion.
Sure.
And that's how I just always felt about the guy.
Would you say that...
Like extraction is tough for me.
True.
Oh, what would I say? What?
Well, would you say that would you replace everyone but Hemsworth just because Hemsworth is just like almost anyone could do that role?
I would replace Hemsworth first.
Okay.
Halle Berry.
Pretty top of the list.
I'm fine, but I don't know. Halle Berry was fine. I
Yeah.
mean, what was her character? She was doing what she had to do. Yeah. Mark Ruffalo you look at Mark Ruffalo with Collateral, now just an HBO Task, and then he's in this.
Yeah.
He likes playing a cop.
Oh, his entire career.
And I'm getting just... Here's the thing with Mark Ruffalo. I mean...
I kind of wanted to focus on all the positive first.
Okay.
No, go on. How can I stop that?
No.
Here's the thing with Mark Ruffalo from Tom Recker.
No, let's keep on going with what we like, because
Yeah.
you're right. You had something going there.
Because I'm conflicted on this one.
where I was going, because you were rooting. You said you were rooting for it.
Yes,
and
I see the passion
Not to
behind
mention
it.
we knew it was 2 hours and 20 minutes. I want to go see a good movie, but but most of all, yeah, because it wasn't straight up cookie cutter, and there were some interesting things about it, and some detail was put into it.
Yep.
So with my thing was, even as the story was going and going and going, the problem is at the end, 2 hours and 20 minutes. I mean, we walked out saying literally. I mean, we say it often. This movie can be shorter.
Yes.
They legitimately really needed to cut 25 minutes off of this movie.
For sure.
And it wouldn't.
And that's not just like a throwaway criticism. Sometimes, when we bring it up, it maybe sounds like just make it short. No, but this really, it would be so much tighter.
And you don't have to change the story.
Right. It's on the chopping room floor.
Right. The issue is there is enough fat there. I kept on bringing this up to Vin afterwards, where it knows that it's a thriller, and it knows at times there's some thrilling moments, but they think they've got more than what they have, and then they are, they bring it, they get it down to the bone, and then they eat the bone. But they don't have enough juice. They're not as thrilling as as Heat.
Yeah.
So just be quicker with it. Get us to the next thrilling moment, because it's not that crazy, guys.
Yeah.
So just take a chill pill and cut 25 minutes. It's all there. Cut it. It's same movie, same premise, even same outcome, which we had some issues with the way it ended. Of course,
Sure.
no spoilers, but it kind of baffles me where there wasn't some type of, shouldn't we make this shorter?
Yeah.
And it wasn't there.
Yeah. And I think some of it does relate to, if you will, how much of a Michael Mann film this wants to be or is clearly inspired by.
Yeah.
Because, in Heat, and I'll point to Thief as well. I think, sometimes, I mean, obviously Heat is the direct example, but, Thief is a good example of more Hemsworth's character arc in this, of, knowing he's better than the crimes he participates in. In a Michael Mann film, there's vibes. There's quiet moments that you're sitting with it. And I couldn't help but this lacked those vibes, but still had the quiet moments, still had the empty space.
Yeah. But all the parts
that ties into performances. I feel like that's where all the performances either fell short for me, or I wanted someone new or something like that.
And that's the thing, because it was there.
Yeah.
It had some hooks to it, but they just kept it going. So there is something to watch here.
Yeah.
I can see myself throwing this on again.
Yeah. I think so. No.
Will I
would.
Will I make
would.
it through the whole movie? Another positive part about the film, where I'm glad that we did get into the characters somewhat. We did get a Halle Berry backstory. We did get Chris Hemsworth's story. We did get Mark Ruffalo's backstory. Sometimes in a lot of movies, I might not need all of that fluff. I was kind of fine with it here, and I liked adding depth to the characters.
Yep.
And even with that, you could have just made it shorter. So in a lot of ways, I was in. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think going down the list of where it kind of falls short for me in certain parts, Hemsworth here again specifically lacking the vibes to pull off these type of quiet moments. That's where I feel like the slip up happens.
I don't think he's got the charisma.
Yeah,
I told you I would replace him with Chris Pine in this.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because for some reason,
Where's Chris Pine?
He's around. He's around.
Is he soft canceled yet?
No, not at all.
Wasn't he tied up with the?
No, he's good.
Okay,
he's clean.
You're just shooting it down.
Yeah,
no, I don't want to hear that.
Because Chris Hemsworth, I think for the ladies, is good to look at.
Sure,
but as far as an acting thing, he can just be like a total brick wall.
Yeah. My one note here of like he's difficult to love because of the walls he puts up. But instead of it coming off of tortured by what he has to do to stay alive, he kind of, I'm not trying to say it in an overly negative way, he kind of comes off autistic. He kind of felt like he was the accountant, with Ben Affleck. Like that's where it feels like this character was, what world this character was pulled out of. And that's where I say, like, it is 20 minutes too long. In the Hemsworth category of possible issues with this movie, a perfect area to cut was just this forced romance of this character. I don't feel like it needed the same romance because it wasn't about... The trajectory of it wasn't the same trajectory as Heat, which that's very specific to the ending of Heat, of what's, like, left behind. Here... the trajectory wasn't the same, so I feel like we just didn't need that piece to the romance. He could still have the same arc of, like, wanting to leave the world of crime behind without, even the cliches of the romance, There's also a pretty crowded runtime here. Instead of the usual A plot, B plot of both sides of the law, we're kind of muddied with a third, maybe even fourth perspective added to the themes of the story. And this is where I feel like, personally, I could have used switch-ups seriously in the cast.
All right.
I think it's hilarious that Mark Ruffalo has made a career out of playing a cop in so many projects, and then he never really adds value despite a career playing cops.
It's the same guy.
But even like going back to when he was young, he was playing cops, It's just like, I don't know. Do you have something new? Maybe?
I will say in Task.
Right. That's because he does the accent work, right?
No, he's like the one guy that doesn't really care to do the accent work. No, he's doing the squinting thing a lot.
Right.
He's doing this Mark Ruffalo squinting. I said that he always looks like he's constipated or something like that. And that's getting old.
I got a place to this character.
Mark Ruffalo can be a good actor.
Right.
But he seems to be... He's just too much of the same sometimes.
Well, listen...
No.
Gates are open on the rant.
It's fine. I really like Task. Task Season 2, it's coming out. I'm going to watch Task Season 2.
Okay.
But Mark Ruffalo is kind of the most annoying in that show. And with this one, I guess I'm so used to this. I'm so used to him playing this character.
Yes.
Because he really doesn't do... what? Collateral, he throws on a mustache? Ooh. That's the level of range we're getting with his cop roles.
Yeah, it's unreal. It's unreal. Halle Berry, I know you said she was like just kind of like whatever. I hate to say it. Halle Berry's never been a good actress. I hate to say it. never.
Cloud Atlas?
No.
Come on.
No.
Don't do it. Come on now.
She gets the Oscar for Monster Ball. Never seen it, but like maybe,
Wow.
This just didn't change that. And I feel kind of bad in the sense of like, the character apparently was, but it was just like not anything. I didn't need the triangle of this story fleshed out by her.
Who would have been better in this? Zoe Saldana?
No. My thing is like strip out this character. Your third is criminal cop and then more chaotic criminal, which is Barry Keoghan. I feel that's the triangle, script writing wise.
Okay, no, I agree. Okay, if you do that, I'm cool.
Yeah, not insider, and then ultimately Barry Keoghan is a fourth perspective. Maybe not.
They're trying to layer. It is trying to be clever.
Yeah. I would say Keoghan is really the only one that I enjoyed seeing on screen. I liked just his usual chaos of the character, but. Kind of similar to what I was saying with Quali in How to Make a Killing, just so clear what role this character serves that it almost kind of spoils itself. You kind of really like see it around the corner. Not a huge critique, maybe a little bit nitpicking, but that's my takeaway on that. It's the casting, we don't talk about casting so much, but I really feel like this was, a script that could have had just like a wildly different cast.
Yeah.
And maybe it works better, maybe it doesn't, but it's certainly not representing good roles for the people that are involved, because I feel like all of them could be swapped in some capacity.
You're not wrong there. Yeah. What about Nick Nolte struggling to speak, really?
You want to talk about an insulting ripoff of a Michael Mann character? It's Nick Nolte in this. An insulting ripoff.
Oh, man.
I mean, even when they meet, is Michael Mann. Oh, man. Come on. Bart, come on. I've seen the movies, too. Like, come on. Sadly, I think when it comes down to it on this one, runtime kills it. And it's a shame because, like we were saying just a moment ago, Tom, I mean, I feel like there's a movie somewhere in the edit. And that's not just saying like, I think I could, chop this one up and rearrange it better. But no, like in the pieces that we're working with, there's a tighter movie, there's a stronger movie, and that it makes it all work better. Granted, I would say, the runway of this runtime, this 2 hours 20, gives room for the slow burn that is the focus of these details, the details that I praise, the detail-driven, aspect of the crime. But it also gives time for empty space that wants to sell itself as atmospheric and instead comes off as shallow and again, just lacking vibes. I mean, you walk away from this movie with two thoughts, and it is, doesn't it suck to be lonely and want a normal life? And even worse, isn't it funny how obsessed California is with yoga? It's just like, what? Why are these the two notes we're hanging on, Maybe in the coming weeks, because we do have some open slots, I'll get around to Leighton's other movie. Again, American Animals has been on my list like forever. But I know he can do better, and I can't help but shake the feeling that if he had some more rhythm to projects, this might have hit the ground running a little bit more. And here's hoping we get more from him than just 2 movies in the decade. We're going to go ahead and give Crime 101 a 63.
Okay, 63%. Almost a good movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, if it was shorter, I would be watching this 2 times, 3 times before I go and to the rip. On Netflix.
Sure, yeah.
Now listen to me. Different movies. Okay, but as far as like thrilling, keep me engaged.
Yeah.
Something that can be quick paced and I can sink my teeth into,
Yep.
have fun with.
Maybe some backstabbing.
There's fun in here, but it's just
I'm still waiting on the rip review from you.
See, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll save it for the two-shoe, the roundup or whatever. Right, the two-shoe
See you in the year.
Yeah. Okay, Crime 101 with a 63%. No 2 shoes on it on this one. But the way you finished is exactly how. That's what I was saying before.
Yeah.
Basically in complete agreement because it was almost frustrating.
Yeah.
Because there was something better there.
Yep.
It just needed to be tighter.
And there's definitely some passion behind it.
Right.
Yeah. This movie was not made in a soulless way.
Based on a book, by the way. And then he wrote the screenplay.
Oh, so, I did see the other writing credit. I didn't find that it was a book. Okay, interesting.
So it is following something.
Yeah.
But okay, before we get to our last movie of the week, we want to remind people that Vin and I, we are completely listener supported here. We are producer supported at the Daily Ratings. And how do you become a producer? You financially support the show. You support me and Vin and what we got going on here. When you go to thedailyratings.com, head to the donations tab, and the whole page is laid out there right there for you. So we have some set donations like buy Vin a movie ticket, Gump Club, Become a Godfather, and then there's the big value for value button there because we're value for value. Are you finding value in what we got going on here? Are you enjoying the podcast? Are you using the website? Are you into film more now from when before you started listening to us? That's value in your pocket. Can you send us value back in our pocket? And it's whatever amount that you want. So whether it be a cup of coffee, $5-10, is it $50, $100, $500? It's everybody's on their own finances, so we kind of leave it up to you. What value are you getting? And like I said, that's how the Daily Ratings is supported. When you do donate in, you become an actual legitimate producer of the Daily Ratings. Because just like in Hollywood, when you financially support a project, you're a producer of the project. So if you notice, we're not doing Patreon because with that, we kind of, we force you to spend a certain amount of money every month. And usually with Patreon, you're promised extra content. Well, because everybody might be getting different value or not regular listeners and things like that, and everybody is on their own finances, we don't want to peg a number to it. We don't want to force you to do that. Basically, it's all out there. Anything that Vin and I produce or create, we put it out there for everybody to enjoy. There's also no paywalls to access any of our content. Again, it's all value for value. It's all listener and producer supported. So please do head to thedailyratings.com and send a donation in our way. We can't tell you how much we appreciate it. Don't forget, when you do produce, to send in your producer note. This could be questions, comments, critiques. Ask us anything, say anything, whatever you want. Right here on the producer thanks segment is when we'll read that. If you want to be anonymous, just write in your notes. Just give me anonymous, and then we'll do that. So please email us at tom.vin@thedailyratings.com. That's our email address. And write in anything. Again, questions, comments, critiques, whatever. We want to bring you into the conversation because that's another thing that producing is all about. We do have some producers for today, so our monthly producers are coming in as always. We have Joel coming in with his $3.93, his $3.33 plus transfer fees, and then Linda Schiller coming in with her movie ticket for Vin every single month. To the both of you, we appreciate it so much. We love it. You're our only monthly producers, and anyone really can be a monthly producer if you want. But Linda and Joel, you have been now for a while. So anytime you want to write in, please do. And of course, we'll give you the producer shout out and read your note. Joel, you are co-executive producer of episode 227. Linda, you're an executive producer of 227. And anyone listening, if you want to be an executive producer for next week's episode, 228, please just go to thedailyratings.com, head to the donations tab. Okay, Vin, for our last movie this week, even though this one is kind of came out a few weeks ago, like I said.
Yeah, kind of the oldest.
You did kind of seem pumped on it. Also, I can't make out really what this film is about.
Right.
And it's our biggest director this week. Gore Verbinski does have some sort of a name to him.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and we do have a couple movies rated from him on the site already. So the film is Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. It seems I was
kind of an annoying title.
It is a little bit annoying title. I do think something about this movie says it's going to play really well when it does get to streaming. At this point, I think I'll wait for it to get into streaming. I won't make an extra trip to the theater, but it all depends on what you have to say. Set it up. Tell us what you can. Tell us about Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die.
Well, that's exactly where I'm in a tough position because this movie worked because I knew so little about it. Even to the point that when we did the little bit of the preview on our kind of 2026 hype
the anticipated
episode,
films,
my brief description of it was kind of not accurate at all, but also kind of the biggest spoiler of the film. So it's like, it's probably best that you don't know too much about it, but I'll say as a huge comparison, I'll make this point a little bit later in the review. If you enjoyed how much of a surprise 2022's The Menu was and how much of a gem that really was, this movie works in a very similar way.
I think that was your... That one of Tom Daly, that movie.
I think so.
That was
the Daily Recognition, maybe. Or maybe not Daily Recognition.
No, it was, oh my gosh, I can't think of it. Not Cane Mutiny. Sweet Smell of Success.
Yeah. Absolutely. And again, there's a reason why that movie stands out because it was such a surprise hit. This has that quality.
Where did this come from?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. This has that quality to a T. We got a new movie from Gore Verbinski here, though. Last touching base on the podcast with them, we covered Rango in Western Month.
Yeah.
And before that, unfortunately, not a good example, Cure for Wellness. We didn't cover it on the podcast, but that is his last film.
It is rated, though.
Yes, and not a great movie, unfortunately. You want to talk about poison pills between Glenn Powell and Chris Hemsworth and Daniel DeHaan. Not great.
Okay, hometown hero, Keystone Cutie.
He is a Keystone Cutie.
A true hometown hero.
Listen. We'll get him on the podcast.
That's all right. Okay.
I'll confront my feelings. We've yet to cover his biggest claim to fame, however, of course, being the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy.
Yeah.
That will probably remain in the holster until we get a new one announced.
Oh, it's announced.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's in production loosely. We know that Margot's in, Margot Robbie. And then there's been so much talk about Johnny Depp finally being brought back into the fold. That looked like it was happening. It might not now. They're still working on it. Yep. I say that he will be coming back.
Absolutely. And that's going to do so much numbers. I mean, just also, like, in general, whatever is the first project Depp comes back into, I feel like is going to go ballistic in the box office.
Well, we have one coming up. He's doing another Christmas. He's doing that Christmas Carol.
Oh, that's right.
In November, that's coming out.
Interesting.
Well, maybe we'll cover it. Whatever.
Yeah, you know.
But this guy is hit gore because, listen, some of the Pirates of the Caribbeans might be kind of enjoyable films.
Absolutely.
Definitely not all of them. And then he did do The Lone Ranger. One of the one of the most famous box office flops of all flops.
Stuck in Disney hell.
So that's the thing. I mean, but he's been working a long time, this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. As much as I'm happy to see Gore back in the chair, though, I would say the huge emphasis here is on the writing. Matthew Robinson might not be a name that immediately jumps out to you, but his distinct, absurd comedic style absolutely defines the experience of the movie. And let me tell you, this movie was pretty nuts.
Okay.
Pretty nuts. Also, Robinson goes back to working with Ricky Gervais, so kind of in that type of comedic scene, getting up in the 2000s. Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die is a wild, dark comedy, sci-fi adventure that stabs at the absurdity of modern life, satirizing the technology that anyone can see is ramping out of control. Set up in a character chapter structure with wildly different tones, very reminiscent of last year's horror hit Weapons. We follow a team of strangers that are recruited to drop their lives and attempt to save the world from impending doom. Sent back from the future to lead this mission is Sam Rockwell, showing up at a random diner dressed like a techno hobo. I feel like I wrote that down 3 times of just how ridiculous
he does
looks.
Look ridiculous.
Yeah. And not beating the allegations of being a techno hobo, that he is doing nothing more than preaching doomsday to everyone inside. While everyone would love to return to their lives staring at screens and escaping the real world, Sam is not going to let them, demanding a squad of volunteers to join him on his critical mission. As tonight is the night true artificial intelligence is born, way beyond your typical compliment bot LLM, and actually intends on ending the world. Folks, there is a lot in the soup of inspiration behind this movie, but I do not mean a single one as a slight or insult to this, because I was in love with how much they were pulling from for this. In love with this. The flavor of the time travel comes from the Groundhog's Day camp, where the fun in the writing is slowly revealing to the audience just how many loops deep we're in. So there's a lot of moments with Sam Rockwell that he just thrives in throwing out something, or he keeps on calling it I can show you a parlor trick, and then he does it. It's so great, so great. The obsession we have with our phones is presented as a kind of a Invasions of the Body Snatchers style threat, where quickly it becomes all of society against our protagonist. Distinctly different than a zombie or something like that. Obviously, a lot of people are calling this a semi-zombie movie, but no, it's Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and I feel like that goes to kind of Gore's inspiration that we've seen in other pieces of his projects, and all over the script, you get really, really cynical beats, cynical, great satire comedy that reminded me everything of Black Mirror to The Truman Show to, believe it or not, even Joe Dante's masterpiece, Small Soldiers.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a trip. Not only did the sharpness of the writing stand out because of how much it worked as a modern satire of modern day, it might be the funniest movie all year. I don't,
so the comedy's really holding up.
Yeah.
With all the thrilling aspects.
Absolutely.
Time traveling.
This was actually very funny. This was the fact that How to Make a Killing was calling itself a dark comedy.
Right.
I mean, within the same week, the head-to-head, I mean, absolutely, this movie trashes anyone that is trying to call themselves a dark comedy.
I told you we were in the car when we went to go see Crime 101, and I just was you basically said, "Oh, I really liked it. I liked the film." And that's where you capped it. Mm-hmm. And I just said he needed one. He needed one, meaning Sam Rockwell, our main actor. He did need one after Argyle and after some other smaller roles and things or pictures.
So true.
But he has that goofiness.
Yes.
That you can take him, even when he is playing George Bush in Vice. He's not playing a good George Bush, but he's playing a great Sam Rockwell playing George Bush. And he's a guy that gets away with it.
Absolutely.
And this just seems like a very silly role. It's ridiculous, but I can see him pulling it off.
He thrives in it. And to your point about like pulling it off, I feel like another person in this comes off annoying. You could like very quickly, like you want to talk about like dancing on the line. Like this could very well dip into like an eye roll, a cringy performance. Any direction of falling off that. But Sam Rockwell is not only like hysterical in it, he thrives in it. He's so electric on screen of how much he's jumping around. I mean, really, if his introduction in the diner in the very first scene does not sell you on it, I mean, like I'd be surprised. It is like maybe not like a top Sam Rockwell performance of all time, but like born to play this, like a perfect role for him. Really great.
Can I make a comparison?
Sure.
Does this have vibes of Everything Everywhere All at Once? Because you're dealing with a lot of different. I don't know if you're going through portals and things like that. Like
no.
Okay. All right. That was it. That's my main question.
For what it's worth, I think the first half of this movie is like significantly stronger than the second half, just because like I feel like you're first getting introduced to all this. The satire really hits. The writing is at its sharpest, and I think where this fits in the conversation of that is how wacky it is and how zany it's trying to present its world, especially around like where you talk about like science fiction. Usually it's taken pretty seriously or they're explaining the technology or whatnot. We're off the cuff almost, almost intentionally not explaining a lot of the technological elements. And I feel like that's Everything Everywhere All at Once for its dimension hopping. I don't know. I mean, where Everything Everywhere All at Once has the emotion on its back half, the first half of this movie has it on the satire and like actually being like funny and like a joy to watch.
Okay. $20 million budget. That's it.
Yeah. Really kind of besides the fact for the review itself, but Gore was apparently shopping around like multiple cities and landed in South Africa to shoot this thing. So it's just like interesting. That's I guess being smart with the wallet to pull this off. Going back to what I was saying about like being the funniest movie of the year, listen, I get it that I might not be the perfect judge of comedy. I certainly don't want to get that knee-deep in comedy because I feel like that is more subjective than most things around movies. But I think this is, without a doubt, the funniest movie of the year. This was so biting and so sharp in its satire that it was like slam dunk.
Well, it's February.
Yeah, true.
So we'll see how we get along.
Got a lot of runway. Side note on some of the things that I could talk about is I really enjoyed the soundtrack here. It's done by Jeff Zanelli. Not exactly the most listenable music on its own, so be warned if you just kind of check out the soundtrack, but it's a wild soundtrack that mixes way more electric guitar and kind of John Carpenter-style synth than I would ever expect. I mean, really wild. I mean, at times this sounded like Primus did the soundtrack, and I'm not even that big of a fan of Primus, but like that's pretty cool. I really did know next to nothing going into this, though, and in so many ways that worked to my enjoyment of the film. It's also where, intentionally, I don't want to say too much about it, and like I said earlier, much like 2022's hidden gem, The Menu, the hook of the story keeps you interested, but the extent of how far they push things and how far the movie goes is what makes it worth actually checking out, and worth your time. I would say, if I had to explain my score without much spoilers, I'd say the first half is much, much stronger than the second half. The writing in that first half is so sharp and so inflated to the point of ridiculousness that, if you don't understand that it's satire, then you're brain dead. You know what I mean? It's so clear how inflated it is. The second half, not that it necessarily fell short, but it did dip into maybe being a little bit too silly for my taste, and having a handful of potential logic issues that don't really get explained neatly. This definitely has some hanging threads by the end that maybe the script wants to lean into to have like as a conversation on the ride home after you watch the movie. I do kind of see them as not like plot holes, but definitely some logic problems that I'd be curious to hear what the writer and director would say about it. At the same time, and on that same exact note, I don't think Verbinski and Robinson were aiming for a tight, neat package for this one. And Messy or Not, I feel like is well worth checking out this year of big swings. We're going to go ahead and give good luck, have fun, don't die, a 76.
Okay, a 76%. You know what? 2026, here we come.
Here we go.
We had a good feeling about it. You're really sticking with the 2026 is the year of big swings. You're really sticking with that.
If only just because I kind of when I write reviews, I end up in the same loop of thoughts,
Right,
again, week after week.
I gotta say, I mean, this sounds. I am truly excited to see this. I really always enjoy watching Sam Rockwell on screen.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if I know what this movie is still.
Yeah,
yeah. And that's the fun, but that's the fun of it.
Yeah. And listen, it's. I don't think it's bulletproof. Again, that second half, it does. There's. I'm just speaking to my own taste.
Sure.
And anyone listening to the podcast, you probably know my taste by now. It did get a little bit too silly for silly's sake. So there is a degree there that you could, even if you're sold by the first half, you could kind of check out by the second half. And I think to your comparisons to Everything Everywhere, that's where maybe, Everything Everywhere's ending is where it really sticks the landing for its emotion of the story. This necessarily didn't have that, but I gotta say, though, I was really, really pleased. This is definitely will go down as a gem in the rough for 2026.
Shocker.
Yeah.
And like I said, it came out a few weeks ago, so
Yeah.
it's like, early February.
Mm-hmm.
That is just fantastic. 76% is kind of a big score. Folks, just keep an eye on it. Keep, if you want to go, it should be playing in a theater near you. In fact, maybe, I don't know, I might still go.
Yeah.
I might still go.
It's going to get knocked, though. I feel
It
like
is getting knocked
February
already.
has been weird just for like theater real estate. There's just been a lot of little competition
Yes.
that has chopped up the time slots.
That's exactly right, for sure. But 76% at least excited for it to get on streaming. Definitely going to be excited to watch that. Real quick, as far as cast, because it's a bit of a cornucopia. Not the
yes.
most familiar faces, but the one actress I was interested in, the girl who played Ingrid was her character's name, but Haley Lou Richardson.
Yeah.
I don't know if she stand out at all. Good.
Good, maybe a little cliche. She's kind of a literal princess in the story.
She's going to be coming up. I can see her not exactly stepping into all the Margaret Qualley roles, but she's that type of actress where I don't know if she's going to be Zendaya level, but something you can give a lot of roles to and can have some fun. She was in season 2 of White Lotus.
Oh, okay,
She was a big character in that show.
Yeah, and it's always important to kind of keep an eye on those viral kind of type of streaming or TV hits.
Yeah,
because
that's not cheap TV.
Gonna,
there's a pipeline.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, all right, 76% for good luck, have fun, don't die. Vin, any other notes? Looking at these scores, anything to touch on in the future? I did come up with an idea.
Oh, yeah, for what?
So,
alternate title?
No.
Oh,
no.
okay. So it's optimistic.
Well, no, we covered that in the beginning. That's fine. No, I was thinking, so before we started recording here, folks, Vin and I were just looking at the schedule.
Yes.
And you had mentioned it earlier in the show where we do have a couple dead weeks in March. It seems like either we have 2 movies that are coming out that people are going to go see.
Yep.
For 2 weeks, or there's 2 weeks where we've got dead spots in.
Yep.
So just saying, do we be creative? Do we just have fun with it? What do we want to do? What if... I just thought about this.
Workshopping this.
You sparked something that made... You might have just said... I forget what you said, but it sparked it.
Okay.
What if you pick whatever, 10 films from random lists. I pick 10 films, and we just make a big wheel, and we spin the wheel. And for the week before we do it, we can spin the wheel, and on the podcast, we're like, here's what we're watching.
I kind of like that. So wait, 2 from each, or just, it could be if the wheel lands on 4 of mine or 4 of yours. That's it.
That's it. Oh, yeah. The wheel's the wheel.
This goes back way back when we were watching Westerns. We were tackling like the Dollars
I probably
trilogy
still have the
and
whiteboard somewhere. Because I think I was using permanent mark on the whiteboard. And I was like, we need to figure this out as we were trying to tackle Westerns. But that could be fun.
I like that.
For one of the weeks.
I like that.
And then, and the other
we got
week,
2 dead weeks.
we might have something else. There was something that sparked our interest.
Yes.
That we might be able to catch in theaters.
I like that, though. I like that.
A rando week, and we can label it something. Whatever, Wheel of Movies. I don't even know.
Wheel of Movies.
Movie roulette. Does that make sense?
Gun to your head.
All right. Anything else to touch on for these, Finn?
No, that's about it. Next week, Well, I'm
excited for next week.
We've heard everyone has been roaring. Where's the Fred Astaire's? Where's the dance episodes? No, I get it. But we are not going to cover the Scream movies. Scream 7 is coming out.
Right.
I don't even like the first Scream. We're not going to do it. We're certainly not going to catch up on 6 other movies. I would like to still kind of put a cap on, this kind of being Footwork February and still liking these type of movies. But we wanted something to kind of pack some heavy hitters in there. So next week will be kind of a more condensed list of the dance episodes or the dance movies that we would have covered throughout the week, and some surprise hits on there. I don't know if you want to go over it.
Are we keeping those a secret? No, let's toss it out to the folks.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, we have some new listeners since we've started the whole Footwork February. Fred
Astaire February.
Right. So even before the podcast, Vin was really hitting Fred Astaire hard, and he saved some. And then we started the podcast, and he was every week in the month of February, he would cover the Fred Astaire film. We covered those, basically. We wrapped it up in a special.
Yep.
And then after that, we started just normal Footwork February, and you were watching some Gene Kelly stuff and kind of going through his and just getting dancing things. But I love it next week. We're just not doing the whole month. It's just going to be one episode.
And gets me out of covering the Scream movies.
Yeah, and I'm excited for it. Go for it.
So, all right. Out of the Gene Kelly list, we're going to do An American in Paris from 1951, arguably more notable than Singing in the Rain as far as...
Close to it, yeah.
Yeah. It's really like top of Gene Kelly. I have about 8 on the list of Gene Kelly. Summer...
I think I'm sick those days. I think it'll make it through the buzz.
He's no Fred. I'm still trying to hold the hatchet up of the head-to-head of best dance. But we're gonna try to focus on some more heavy hitters. I'm talking Saturday Night Fever from 77.
Yes.
I'm talking Dirty Dancing from 87. What was that?
Hot, spicy. Never seen it.
Never seen it. I don't know how hot it is. And we're going to wrap it up with something that'll hopefully grab some attention. We're going to do La La Land from 2016, a must-watch on the site already.
And I've never seen it. Purposely I've stayed away.
Wow.
Oh, I purposely stayed away. You didn't know this?
Okay. Listen, it's not...
Because it's...
Thematically, it's really not that much of a dance movie. It's more of like a love letter to that era.
It sounds like I'm going to love it then. It's me and dance movies are a very tough thing. There's 2 dance movies I watch. And they're not even dance movies.
White Christmas.
And Grease.
Those are dance. I hate to break it to you, Tom. Those are dance movies.
I know they are, but I'm just saying there's 2. There's 2. I love them, and I don't think there's a single other one. They make me feel awkward. We'll get over it next week.
All right, okay. No, that's fine. Yeah, we can hash it out.
I feel embarrassed for them. Okay. Anyway. Okay, thank you so much for watching these, Vin, for stopping by this week. For the folks at home, we'll run it down one more time. We got How to Make a Killing with a 51%, Crime 101 with a 63%, and Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die with a 76%. It's always a blast week after week. We want to thank our producers for this episode, and we'll be here for the news show on Tuesday, and we'll have Vincent Daly back here in the chair next Thursday on the Daily Ratings Podcast. And hey, if you enjoyed the podcast, if you would, give us a good rating or get the word out and tell a friend about us. And just a reminder that the Daily Ratings is completely producer supported. We want to stay away from advertising, and we don't want to have any paywalls or tier structures or subscriptions. It's all just value for value. So, are you finding value in what we're doing here at the Daily Ratings? Then become a producer and donate whatever amount of value that is. Just go to the donations tab on thedailyratings.com, and while you're there, be sure to check out the massive amount of films that Vince has rated. So thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Daily Ratings Podcast.